Alright, this is going to be a wheel hub change on a 2013 Ford Escape. So here are the tools you'll need. You'll need a pulley. This is a 5-pound pulley. Most of these tools I got as loaner tools from AutoZone. You'll need the front wheel drive hub puller. I bought these in case the bolts on the back of the hub are rusted. You'll need a 13mm box wrench and a 10mm socket with an extension. The PB Blaster is awesome if those bolts are frozen. You'll also need a 32mm wheel hub assembly nut socket. And of course, the wheel hub assembly. First thing you're going to do, you're going to remove the lug nuts. This is the lug nut remover that came with the car. Next, you're going to want to loosen up the wheel hub nut. It's behind this little Ford piece. Once all the bolts are loosened, you'll want to use a floor jack and a floor jack stand. I've seen people do these jobs online with just a floor jack. It's ridiculous. You don't want to put your safety on a floor jack. You want to use a jack stand. There we are, safe and secure. Now we'll remove the rest of the lug nuts and take the wheel off. Okay, first thing we're going to do is remove two 13mm bolts that hold down the brake caliper. One is here, and the other here. Once we remove the brake caliper, we'll hang it up here with a zip tie. The brake caliper may get stuck on the rotor. You just have to jiggle it till it comes off. Next, you're going to want to remove the rotor. This is the piece we're going to take off and replace. So now you're going to have to remove, well, we'll remove this. Alright, and then we're going to remove the four 10mm bolts that are holding the hub down. At first I was going to replace the bearing in the old hub, but I couldn't get the bearing out because I didn't have a press, so I ordered just a new hub. So one of my bolts was frozen in there pretty good and got stripped, so now I'm going to use the Easy Out 10mm socket. I'll bang it on with a hammer and then use that breaker bar to get it out. You'll need a 1/2 to a 3/8 adapter to make this all work. Okay, so I've attached, I know this says front wheel drive hub puller. I'm using it in conjunction with the 5-pound pulley. So I attached the unit with the hub nuts. Now I attached the 5-pound pulley, and now I'm going to hammer it out. And there it is. You'll see that there are differences in the shape of these bolt holes. These are a little bit wider and up top, so you're going to want to make sure that this goes on the top. It won't fit any other way. Alright, so I put the wheel hub assembly bolts back in. Those are back in. Now we'll put the hub nut back on. And now the rotor. And the brake caliper. I didn't pull the emergency brake throughout this whole installation, and I believe that that is why I was able to slide the brake caliper back on without having to push the caliper back open with a tool. So I don't advise using the emergency brake, just chalk the wheels. Okay, so those two 13mm bolts are back in. Now we put the wheel on. For those of you who do not know, wheel hub nuts have to go on lug nuts in a particular pattern. So it starts one, then you go across from that. It's almost like a star pattern. Across from that. You will tighten these nuts in the same pattern. Once the lug nuts have been tightened in that pattern, you'll take and you'll drop the car, and then you'll finish tightening both the lug nuts and the wheel hub nut. Okay, I tightened the lug nuts several times in that pattern to make sure that I get them torqued down. The center hub nut is supposed to be torqued at 98 pounds. I don't have a torque wrench that goes that high, so I'll just torque it by hand. I know that's not recommended, but I must say I am not a mechanic in no way, shape, or form. I'm a weekend guy who likes to work on his car. Okay, that concludes our wheel hub assembly change. Thank you guys. Like if you find it useful.